Good morning everyone, and it's our Ready to Run series. So just a quick 20-minute warm-up and exercise session to help you get your body ready to run. So if you're already running, this is going to really help you to reduce your aches and pains, improve your stamina and just give you better technique as well. So if you're joining us this morning, make sure you've got a safe, clear working area, nothing to trip over, and that you've got something that you can just use as a light support while you're working today. So we're going to start in a moment's time. So please do get everything ready that you need. Got this morning. Rachel, good morning Rachel. Nice to see you. Okay, so a little bit of support, something that you need just to, not to rely on, but just to lightly rest on if you need it for your balance. Okay, and we're going to start with the feet today. We're going to work from the feet all the way up. So a lot of people think they have weak ankles. There's not really a condition where you can have weak ankles. The instability, the weakness, the wobble usually comes from the arches of the feet and the leg and hip muscles, okay? So it's those and your core that are helping you to stay strong. So we're going to start with the feet. You don't need your support for this one. I'd like you to just stand with your heels underneath your hip bones. Allow your toes to spread out and lengthen. So you do need to be socks or bare feet for this. No trainers on, okay? Otherwise it won't work. Right, think about the ball of your big toe. So not the actual big toe itself, the ball of the big toe. And I'd like you to just feel like you're pressing that into the floor. Now, it's a very small move, but this is working on your arch strength. So what you're going to do now is roll your heel outwards, but keep pressing your big toe, the ball of the big toe, into the floor. So not the actual pad of the toe, the ball of the big toe. Roll out again. Can you feel how that arch contracts as you roll away? And back down. So this is a great one to do when you're cleaning your teeth or doing the washing up. Yeah, if you just stood. So cleaning your teeth is good because you're usually in bare feet or light slippers or something that you can do this in. So this is a great way to help strengthen those arches, and you might find that one foot feels different from the other. So we're just rolling out into the outside edge of the heel and back down, and one more. Okay. So you should hopefully have felt that in your arches. Right, we're going to come to your support now. Facing it, both hands on, still stood, feet hip distance. And we're just going to weight the feet up with some foot pedals. So you're going to lift one heel, press the knee forwards. Lift that heel as high as you can, roll back down. Lift and down. And what you're trying to do here is make sure that your hips stay level. So actually, if you need to, you could take your hands onto your hips, and what you want to feel for is that they stay completely level. So if as you do that your hip is hitching, your leg's not doing the work, your back is. Okay? So you're going to roll up, get a good stretch in those toes and in the arch. One more each foot. So just getting everything waking up, and then we're going to take both hands on. We're going to do a double heel raise. So spread the toes out, try not to grip the floor, pull up, roll back down. But try not to press onto your support. And don't worry if your heels aren't going very high at the moment. Just take them as high as you can without pressing onto that support. Okay, notice if you're going up and down or if you're going forwards. Try and rise straight up. And if you think about pressing into your middle toes, that's going to help keep your ankles strong. Okay, it's that line going up from the middle toe all the way up, connecting to the shin and all the way up to the hip. Now, we're going to stay in this rise this time. Can you take one hand at a time off that support and hold? Take the hands back. Now we're going to do those foot pedals again, but this time from the top. So press one heel down, rise up, and switch. So again, think about your tracking. Are those hips doing a bit of a salsa? Try and keep them steady. Okay, so again, if you can do it without support, you can take your hands onto your hips, feel what's happening. And just checking these are going right over those toes, not turning inwards. And then come back to that rise. Now, from here, we're going to bend the knees. And up, not too far. Just a little bend, remember we're only warming up. Now feel what's happening in your body. Can you feel your hamstrings switch on as you do this? Or are you a very quad dominant person? So if you can, try and focus on your hamstrings, and it might be again that one leg's different from the other. Think about bringing your sitting bones, that's the bones underneath your bottom that you sit on, towards your heels. And that should help to switch the hamstrings on. So if you sit back, you're not going to feel them. Think of coming towards your heels. And up and down. Right, let's make that into a more rolling motion now. Standing tall, shoulders back, big breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. We're going to bend the knees, lift the heels, push up and lower. Knees and heels, up and lower. Try and keep that pelvis neutral. So by that I mean that it's not sticking out and tucking under as you work. Try and keep it still. Really pull up into that rise. One more. Okay, we're going to come back to that rise. You're going to step one leg back into a lunge. So step it back, push your heel down, lengthen the calf, step in, push back and in. Now if this is too much on the rise, if your calves have had enough, do this from the flat. Push and up. We'll do one more each leg. And back to that rise. Give me a balance again. Can you take those arms off and hold and roll back down? Okay, we're going to turn to face this way now. We're going to work a bit more on the hips. So if you come to that good standing posture, standing tall, we're going to make sure we're breathing all the way around rather than up and down into your shoulders. Okay, hand onto the hip. You're going to take outside leg forwards. Just slide it along the floor, lift your heel, feel your arch work, pull back down. Slide and lift the heel. So feel that you're creating a really strong straight line all the way down that thigh bone, shin bone and into the middle toe. Okay, from there we're going to go out to the side now. So gliding out and back down. So that's where this hand is really important, that we're not doing this. Okay, hips doing nothing if you do that. Feel it right here. One more. Now we're going to go to the back. Exhale as you take the leg back so that your lower back doesn't arch. You can pull your tummy muscles in. So if I turn sideways, what people commonly do is this, and they use their back to extend. I'd like to exhale, push that leg back, feel your glute work instead. One more. And in. Okay, let's do those to the other side. So this is just getting the hips warm. So hand onto the hip, we're gliding forwards and down. Hip staying level, stretch that foot, lift your heel. One more. Okay, gliding out to the side, push and back down. So again, right here, sort of round, almost round the back of the hip. and staying pulled up on that supporting leg. So whilst we're working that moving leg, you're also working your stabilising side. Let's go to the back. Push. And in. So remember, it's those glutes firing up for this one. And one more. And down. Okay, turning to face your support again, we're going into some single leg work. So now you need to sort of be arm's length really, because you want to have space for your knee. So you're just going to bring that leg in. Now try not to push up on your support. Shoulders wide, take a breath in, exhale, lift that heel, and down. So we're trying to do this with control, so it's not about speed. And at the minute, it's not about height, it's about building strength and control. So very light touch on that bar. If you can do it without, do it without. See if you can do a few. How high are you getting that heel? And down. Okay, swapping legs. Pulling up tall, breath in. Exhale, pull up. So again, we're trying not to rock forwards. We're trying to lift up towards the ceiling. And again, you might feel different on one side than the other. I know my right side is definitely not quite as strong as my left. Last one. Okay, into our single leg lunges now. So you can take that leg. I like to flex the foot on this just because it feels good. Okay, now I'm going to bend that knee and push up. It's not a deep lunge. And if you feel wobbling, your knees going in and out, make it even smaller. Because what we want to do is do this with control. Down and up. Again, if you're a very quad dominant person, so front of your thigh, think about pulling your sitting bone towards your heel. So as you come down into a lunge, you shouldn't be going back, you should be going towards your heel with your hips. One more, and those knees are going straight forwards. Let's swap sides. Okay, strong hip, foot aligned, toes spread, and let's come down and up. And remember those nice big long breaths. It's going to help keep you oxygenated. Less chance of cramp, runner's stitch. Reducing that lactic acid build-up. We can do one more. And pushing up. Really good. Right, from there we're going to come into some squats. So I'm actually going to take my chair a little bit further forward so that you can see me. Right, arms length, feet wider than your hips. Tall spine, make sure that chin is tucked back so that when you come into that squat, I want you looking down at the floor where your support is. So into your heels, lower your hips, keep your chest lifted, keep your toes down, push back up. Inhale, exhale. Again, pelvis staying neutral. So really try very hard not to tuck under or stick out as you come down into that squat. Okay, you should feel your glutes stretch and contract. Knees over toes. One more. And that's your squats. Right, from there, I'm going to do a bit more hip work now. So for this, we want to work the glute med. This is very often the muscle that if you have IT band issues, now if you've got that, you'll know it, that horrible tightness in the hip and down here that travels to the knee. Okay, that IT band needs to be tight. Okay, it's a pelvic stabilizer. If we loosen that off, whoa, you've lost all your stability here. So it needs to stay tight, but it might be overworking because something else is underworking, usually the glute med. So if we take hand onto the hip again, you're going to glide that leg out to the side. Now flex your foot, bring your toes off the floor, and you're going to take that leg slightly diagonally back. You're going to push and down, push. So it's not going right behind you, you should feel it right here, back of the hip. Stay pulled up and tall on that other leg. We'll do 4 more. And 3, 2, and how steady are you stood on that other leg? Right, holding it there, circles for me, little circles with the heel. Round the other way. Okay, now from there, place your, place your toe back onto the floor, and you're going to take that leg round to the back. Now cross it over. Now both your knees are going to go towards your support. Keep your hips level, you're coming down. This is a crossed curtsy lunge. Very fancy name for looking like a 3-year-old who needs the toilet. So down and push back up. Now this is great for the lower leg and for knee health. Can you feel how your lower leg is rotating a bit? This is tibial rotation. Okay, really good for your knee health. Last one. And up. Now, let's tilt forward, glide that leg round, bring it in. Okay, now into turn out. Okay, squeeze the heels together, wrap those hips. Let's take the leg forward, this time keep your turn out. Now you're going to glide that toe round, round to the back and round to the front. Round to the back and round to the front. Very light touch on that toe. One more. And bring it back in. Right, bending those knees. Squeeze back up. Bending out. Feel that you're really working that from the hips. One more. And up. Okay, let's do those on the other side. Okay, so standing hip distance, leg out to the side, flex your foot, and you're pushing slightly diagonally back and down. This hip is staying still. Try not to let it pull up towards your ribs. Are your toes down on the other foot? Are you pulled up in this hip? I'm going to do one more and hold it. Circles. 4, 3, 2, 1. Other way. All coming from inside that hip socket. And down. Now let's take that leg round. Cross it over for your cross curtsy lunges. Coming down and up. So both knees going that way. As you lower down and push up. So that front leg's turning out a little bit. 2 more. 1 last one. Okay, circling that leg back round, closing it in. Let's turn into first position. wrap those hips. Let's go forwards, circle it round. Now pull up tall on that supporting side. That side's working too. Don't forget about it just because it's not moving. Very light touch with that toe on the floor. One last one. And closing back in, let's press those knees out. And up. 2 more. And up, fantastic. Okay, into some quick stretches to finish with. So both hands on. Let's step one leg back, push your heel down. Now focus into your breathing, big breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Now, soften the back knee. Try and keep your heel on the floor. This is your Achilles tendon stretch. And then step onto that front leg, pick up the back leg. Now just make sure you've not arched your back. Tuck under by drawing your tummy in. Knees together if you can. And just see if you can get a really good stretch in that quad. Okay, we're going to release it, take it across the front, come into your hip stretch. And pushing up, changing sides. Calf stretch. Shoulders wide, make sure that spine is tall, you've not just sort of relaxed into it. Whole body's active here. Now let's bend that knee. So it's when we start switching things off and just completely and utterly depending on the bit that's moving that we start to get problems, because the body is a whole system, okay? Everything works together, it's integrated. So if you run with really rounded shoulders and they're going up and down and you've not got your core switched on, everything else is going to be working a lot harder to stabilise you. That's when we get injuries, that's when we get real aches and pains. Okay, bringing that heel in, knees together. And then we're going to cross it over for your hip stretch. So I often see people at the end of the runs doing this, you know, in a kind of a zen-y way. Right, that's just showing off. If you can do it, fine. But in order to get a really good stretch, if you need to, just hold on to something, okay? Peer pressure, that's what it is. And pushing back up. Okay. Crossing the legs over, we're going to take the arms up, bring them forwards, nod your chin, you're going to curl down towards your toes. Bring the heels in and curl back up. Stretching the other way, cross over the other way. Now make sure you're not turned out, turn that heel in. Okay, you want the legs, feet parallel, nod, curl down, into your stretch. And then curling back up. Okay, and very well done everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning. Next one will be Wednesday morning at the same time. So have a wonderful day and have a good run.